I was sitting in my room, thinking about the next day. I was excited because tomorrow, I was planning to sneak into the abandoned house across the street all by myself and explore it. I had wanted to do this for a long time, but I couldn't gather the courage because none of my friends supported the idea and didn't want to go with me. This was because the house had a bad reputation. Rumors said that people who rented rooms there used to disappear, and a year ago the owner of the house, Miranda, went missing as well. Perhaps it's for the best. She always scared me. She had a mean look and never greeted anyone. I instinctively kept my distance from her. Something about her was always repellent. Last winter, the house suddenly became empty. No one saw Miranda or the tenants who rented rooms there anymore. The lights in the house stopped turning on. The neighbors called the police, thinking that the owner might have died, but they searched the house and found nothing. At that time, I felt relieved, because it was scary to sleep when the rumor about her death was spreading. Before bed, I would imagine her lying dead in her house, and then at night, her ghost staring out the window at our house. Such creepy thoughts filled my head, and I couldn't get rid of them. But with the arrival of morning, all fears would vanish, and I boldly decided to satisfy my curiosity. I had already walked around the house before, peeking into the windows. Inside, it was gloomy. One window wasn't locked, so I decided I would sneak in through it. After breakfast, I immediately headed to the abandoned house. After opening the window, I looked around. The sun was shining brightly that day, so inside, the house didn't look creepy. I climbed in through the window. At that moment, my heart was pounding hard. They say the first step is always the hardest. I started exploring the rooms, realizing that there was nothing scary here. Wandering through this house was insanely interesting. I decided that I must convince my friends to come here with me. After exploring the first floor, I came across a staircase leading to the second floor. There was another room under the stairs. I opened the door and was surprised. It wasn't a closet or a sanitary room as usual, but a spiral staircase leading to a basement. I decided I wasn't ready to go down there yet, so I closed the door and headed upstairs. There were many different rooms, a lot of furniture and interior items. Damn, I definitely need to persuade my friends to come here together. We could hang out here and at night play hide and seek. It would be so creepy. Maybe I'll hide under this huge bed. I looked under it, and what I saw puzzled me. There was a large book lying there. I pulled it out. The cover felt extremely unusual, soft, like animal skin. I opened it and saw handwritten notes. I decided to take this trophy with me to read everything carefully at home in the evening. Later, I went home. In the evening, I took out the strange book, got into bed, and began studying it. Here's what was written. Dear reader, this book is dedicated to an extraordinary woman. Our meeting was quite ordinary. I read an ad in the newspaper about a room for rent in a cottage village. A beautiful woman with an unusual name, Miranda, was renting it. At that moment, I thought, what an easy victim, almost boring. But I quickly remembered that even in the boring, you can sometimes find something beautiful. I immediately called Miranda and arranged a meeting. On the way to her, I thought about how best to give Miranda eternal peace. I imagined the beauty waiting for me, the woman of my dreams, and only the best death would do for her. When I rang her doorbell, a woman in her 40s answered. She looked unkempt, her hair was tangled, and there were grease stains on her blouse. Gross. My first thought was, how could someone let themselves go like that? No elegance, no taste. I even wanted to leave. This woman wasn't worthy of a graceful end. My dreams shattered. She wasn't what I imagined. But unfortunately, it was too late to back out, so I had to go into the house. Hello, Miranda. Hello, William, come in. You must be tired from the road, right? She asked. A little tired, yes. Thank you for your concern, I replied. Her rotten teeth horrified me. William, make yourself comfortable in your room and then come to the kitchen. I've prepared dinner for you. I thanked her. Entering the room, I felt nauseous at the thought of what kind of food this woman had prepared. It must be unsanitary. How unfortunate that I'm a gentleman and can't refuse a woman's invitation to dinner. I opened my bag and looked at the garrote I brought with me. No way I'm using this on her, I decided later. When I entered the kitchen, the table pleasantly surprised me. There were many different hot pies, and a huge samovar stood on the table. Maybe I'll decide to eat a little, but only because of the aroma. I even felt a little ashamed in front of Miranda for not using the garrote on her, but you can understand me too. She was just too untidy. Sit down at the table. I sat down, and she offered me her special tea. Then she poured me the tea. The aroma was indeed delightful. I couldn't resist and took a sip. There can't be any bacteria in tea. It's boiling water. How is it? Miranda asked with a smile. I felt very relaxed. In a cold basement, my hands were in shackles, the chains embedded in the walls. Visibility was weak, but this woman turned out to have a twist. You could even fall in love with her. Such resourcefulness and courage in such an untidy body. My thoughts were interrupted by a strong chill. I needed to warm up quickly. Should I call the hostess? No way. A true gentleman should handle his own problems. After carefully examining my surroundings, I saw a man lying next to me by the wall. I looked closer and saw that he was mutilated, but I didn't see ugliness. I saw a work of art. With no other options, I had to be a bit barbaric and borrow clothes from this exhibit. Fortunately, he wasn't shackled. I put on his pants and threw his jacket over me. Dressed warmer, I couldn't wait to see Miranda again. I wondered what she had prepared for me. Maybe she'd turn me into a work of art too. Suddenly, the light bulb flickered on. The door opened, and footsteps echoed on the stairs. I smiled in anticipation. Here she comes, my love. With great effort, I opened my eyes and lifted my head. I saw a regular long kitchen knife in her hand. Oh, such a woman, but no taste. Then I looked at her face and broke into a wide smile. My heart pounded with joy like a dog seeing its owner. She glared at me angrily. I don't know why, but my smile irritated her, yet I couldn't stop smiling. She quickly approached me, but as she got closer, she slipped on my frozen blood. In that moment, I thought about how my love should only walk on a red carpet. How graceful it looked, as if a Hollywood star was stepping out of a limousine and walking down the red carpet into my arms. The knife fell out of her hand and she fell onto me, right into my arms. As she collapsed onto me, I grabbed her neck and squeezed with all my love. I sent her to eternal peace, to an endless sleep of love. The keys to the shackles were in her pocket. Forgive me, my dear. Life decided that I wouldn't stay with you in eternal rest, but I'll give you a wonderful gift. After stopping the infection in my hand and recovering a bit, I'm sure that this will later become a museum exhibit. Next, I wrote down the names of those I gave eternal peace to. But the first on the list will be my Miranda. She's the diamond of this book. After reading all this, I was in shock. Who could have come up with such a thing? Is this some kind of joke? As I continued to read the list of names, I was horrified. There were over 200 of them. Then there were a few blank pages, and on the last one there was more text. Reading this is mandatory if you don't want to be added to this book. Reader, you have no idea what kind of story you're getting yourself into. Return this book to its rightful place tomorrow, or I'll have to pay you a visit. There are hidden cameras all over the house. I saw you and know your face, and don't you dare tell anyone about this. After reading, I started shaking. I wanted to tell someone about it, but the book forbade it. The next day, I returned it to its place. I was so scared that I took a knife with me to that house just in case. Now I don't know what to do. I live in constant fear. If this is true, that man is clearly insane. What if he finds me?